Welcome to BCC 10.
We have a lot to focus on this week, so let's break it down. Get up to speed with the motorsports hitting the track this week.
And then our special segment of Common Sense with Mr. Young.
Math is more your thing. Storm Reinbolt has something special cooked up for you.
And then let's wrap it all up with our pop culture segment.
For all you motorsport fans out there, this is a busy week in the world of motorsports, so you got to catch the action. Whether it's VA Supercars or Formula One, there's action for you anywhere. If you're looking to catch the 12 hours of Sebring, that is in Sebring, Florida, with IMSA's multi-class endurance racing, some of the best out there. You can also catch out Formula One's kickoff race in Melbourne, Australia, and that will be one to remember. NASCAR also takes over Vegas with all three of their series, Trucks, Xfinity, and Cup, taking over the weekend. But if it's more your speed, you can catch MotoGP, which takes over Argentina. Whether you like oval racing or sports cars, there's a race for you this weekend. This was our section, Motor Shot Podcast.
Wow, that's a lot of races this weekend.
Next, we're going to be interviewing Mr. Young with our special segment, Common Sense, as he gives us the rundown on our modern politics. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Politics Today. I am your host, Braden Beeson, with our special guest, Mr. Young, our government connoisseur. So let's get into it. Why is it important for people to vote, especially the young people of America?
The young people of America are underrepresented in the vote today. They are the least likely to vote. They are the most apathetic, and their voice needs to be heard. Like I said, your voice is your vote. If you don't want to cast a vote, then you will not be heard. Even if you think that the person that you're going to vote for is not going to win, it doesn't matter. Your voice needs to be heard. So yes, get out there, register, and vote.
So within our government, we have a series of bills that go through a process that turn into laws. How does that process happen? And how do we make sure our represented officials represent the right stuff?
What we want them to. So the bill process to become a law is pretty complicated, but it's supposed to be. We don't want a lot of frivolous laws out there. So basically, I'll give you just the rundown, how a bill becomes a law. A bill can be introduced in either house, House of Representatives or the Senate, unless it's an appropriation bill, which means it has to start in the House of Representatives. So let's start there for this example. So if a bill comes from the House, first thing it's going to do, it's going to be assigned a committee. A committee is full of House members, and they will mark up the bill, they will research it, they will debate it, and if everything goes well, they vote on the bill, and if it gets a majority in the committee, then that bill moves on. In the House, and only the House, the next step is it goes to a Rules Committee. The Rules Committee will set time limits and whether or not amendments can be added to the bill or not. Because there are so many members in the House of Representatives, they try to keep it short for discussion. After the House committee, it goes to the full House, and they will discuss and debate, and they will vote on it. If it gets a majority vote, it goes to the Senate, and the whole process starts over. But it's a little bit different in the Senate. Again, it will be given to a Senate committee, and they will look at the bill, and usually the Senate will change the bill. And this is going to happen a lot of the times, and the process changes because of this. So then that bill will go directly to the entire Senate. There is no Rules Committee for the Senate because the Senate can debate as long as they want on a bill. Debate will happen, and they will vote on it. If it gets a majority vote in the Senate, well then, because they changed the bill, it has to go to something called a conference committee. A conference committee is made up of people from both the House and the Senate, and they're going to argue about the bill. Why'd you change your bill? Because it's stupid. No, you're stupid. You're stupid. And they'll fight and argue, and they'll compromise and come up with a changed bill. That bill needs to go back to the House for a majority vote and back to the Senate for a majority vote. Then it goes to the president. Once the president gets it, he can do one of two things. Sign it, bill becomes a law. Or he can veto the bill, meaning no, which means the bill is pretty much dead, unless it can go back to the House and back to the Senate for a 2/3 supermajority vote, in which case they override the veto and it becomes a law without the president's signature. But that doesn't happen very often.
So you mentioned a lot of elected officials that help turn a bill into a law.
Correct.
But a government department that's been getting a lot of controversy lately is the Department of Government Efficiency, otherwise known as DOGE.
DOGE, yes. Donald Trump and Elon Musk's creation of a waste-seeking agency that's trying to save money. They seem to have a lot of power for an agency that was not created by Congress. Now, according to the Constitution, any executive agency must be created by the Congress to actually have any real power. Now, this group has gone through, and they're going through a lot of budgetary processes looking for waste. And again, there's something in our Constitution called separation of powers. Congress is in charge of the budget. They control the purse. Like I said, the House, if it's a bill, it has to come out of the House of Representatives. Now, what DOGE is doing in some issues is they're taking funds that have already been appropriated by Congress, and they're shutting them down, therefore stepping on Congress's toes. Why Congress is not stepping up and saying, hey, you're getting our business, I do not know, but it is something that they could definitely do.
And do you foresee eliminating government waste as a positive?
There, to some extent, there is waste. When President Trump came on for his State of the Union, he mentioned many programs that were wasteful. Some of it was true. Most of it was partially true. But yeah, there is waste in government. But I don't think firing people from jobs is the way to go through it. Causing more unemployment could definitely be a bigger problem in the long run.
All right. Thank you. Politics Today, where we plan to inform, educate, and empower the youth to pursuing political activism, to show your representation for your government. Make sure to get out, vote next election cycle. Thank you, past me, for wrapping up that segment.
Storm, take us away on proving integers.
Nerd.
All right, today we're going to prove Pythagoras' famous equation of a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And to begin, I'm going to draw a square with side lengths a plus b. And in it, I'm going to describe a smaller square inside with side length c. Now, since this is a square and we're assuming that this is dividing it at the midpoint, there's nothing wrong with assuming that. We then have lengths and bases of all a and b for the triangles. So now we have the area, big square, which I'll denote as big S, equals a plus b squared. And we have the area of the smaller square, which I'll denote as little s, is c squared. Now, if we wanted to find how much area this square is taken up from the bigger square, we just have to set these equal to each other. So we have a plus b squared equals c squared. And we need to remember these four triangles, which the area is then given by 1/2 AB. Since there's four of them, we have 4 there, but that's equal to c squared plus 2ab. And this factors out to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. We may cancel out the common 2ab to get c squared equals a squared plus b squared. And that was proof of Pythagoras' famous equation you've learned in geometry class. I was your host, Storm Reinbold, and that was Math Monday.
Thank you, Storm.
Our final segment, U.S. Pop Culture Today, featuring Kaishan, uncovers the true beef behind the good kid in a mad city versus God's special Kiki. Hello, this is Braden Beeson. Welcome to our special segment on Pop Culture US Today. Today we are talking with Kaishan Robinson about the Kendrick versus Drake beef. So Kaishan, you understand what's going on between Kendrick and Drake. You want to give us a rundown on the beef?
Okay, so basically, it really started like 13 years ago.
Alright.
Because Kendrick rapped on a Big Sean song. He called out a bunch of rappers, but it wasn't like he wasn't dissing them necessarily. It was just more like friendly competition. But Drake took it the wrong way. So basically, since then, they've been like sneak dissing each other for like up until Like That came out. So Like That really kicked the beef off. You know, people like to say I'm dragging it, but like it's two of the biggest artists in the world, so people are gonna talk about it.
Yeah.
So, me personally, I think Kendrick won. You could probably hear otherwise from other people, but
I gotta think Kendrick won too.
I think those people are coping. They're coping.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially like the Super Bowl and the Grammys. There's really nothing you can do unless he like performs like the World Cup or some shit.
Yeah, you know, the only headlines I see with Drake are his losing UFC bets. So he's not winning too much anymore.
I mean, basically everything Kendrick said about him is true.
Hey, he's not.
Well,
like
I'm
us.
not
He's
saying
not
the
like us.
pedophile stuff. I'm not saying that's true.
Drake is not like us. So that was our special segment on Pop Culture US today. Of course, featuring Kaishan Robinson, knowing way more about the Kendrick and Drake beef than I do. That is it for me. This was this week's episode of the BCC 10. We don't know if we're going to be making any more of these, but if we manage to get 3 likes on this video, we will be dropping episode 2 of the BCC 10.